Okay, we are good. So roll call. District 1 Chairman John Black,
Present.
District 2 Commissioner Gary Heberly,
Here.
District 3 Commissioner Pete Sarkella,
Present.
District 4 Commissioner Rollinger Ballard appears to be absent, and District 5 Commissioner Joel Wyatt.
Here. Thank you, Leslie.
You're welcome.
Moving on to additions, corrections, and deletions to today's agenda. If there are no additions or corrections, entertain a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve today's agenda.
Support. We have a motion from Commissioner Heberly and support from Commissioner Sarkella. Is there any discussion on the topic? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Agenda is adopted. Moving on to the approval of our meeting minutes from the June 7th BOC meeting. There are no corrections or additions. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So move.
We have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella. Is there support?
Joe, you're gonna have to support that because I called in virtually last week.
Support. We have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Wyatt. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to correspondence, petitions, and introductions. You've received your correspondence from Jody yesterday. We will move on to commissioner reports, and we will start with Commissioner Sarkella.
I was able to attend Fort Sanilac a week ago. They approved their 2023 budget. They're waiting on Township Fire Authority millage discussion with them. I know they had a meeting recently, but I wasn't able to participate in that one. And the village tax value has gone up 3 million. So they've had some benefits with that as far as their taxable dollars are concerned. And so they'll be working with CFA moving forward, and hopefully they're also waiting on county negotiations for the sheriff department to continue with their coverage that they have there in the village as well. That's all I have.
Thank you, Bill. Commissioner Heberly?
Yes, as you know, I was on vacation in North Carolina, so missed a couple of my township meetings a couple weeks ago, but I did attend a Washington Township meeting, and I think it's been in the news, and I don't know, Eric, you may even had it in the Sanilac County News or on the radio. There's been an co-owner bought the Highway Drive-In Theater. He was at the Washington Township meeting last week, and he's wants to get the movie industry back up and going. He wants to hold festivals, have different music groups coming in at different times during the year. And he was at the Washington Township meeting asking to approve a beer and license application. Well, Township don't do that. He has to go through the state on that, but there was no qualms about him purchasing it and having that type of activity there. There was a few complaints about some of the lawn mowing, road issues. There's been a gentleman there a couple times that lives out in the Carsonville area that was complaining because the tractors and things go by his place and cause a lot of dust, and especially during the time when pollen was out and things. So the supervisor was going to go out and talk to the farmer and talk to the gentleman that was complaining about it. And they're also going to purchase a generator. So during elections, if electricity goes down, they got a generator on their machine. So end of my report.
Thank you, Gary. I myself had a meeting this morning with our MCF consultant. We're continuing to move forward and develop a plan of action as we move forward with that facility. That's all I have. Commissioner Wyatt.
I've had several meetings over the last 2 weeks. Well, I haven't had meetings. I attended meetings, right? In Speaker, Fremont, Planning Commission meetings, regular board meetings. The big deal down there is the wind turbines, and there's a lot of discomforting attitudes being displayed at the meetings, rightfully so, because people are upset. They become upset because they feel they weren't properly notified, but our laws were followed. It seems to be clear that proper notification came out regarding ordinance changes. But there's, again, as we've talked about, I've said several times, if you don't show up at your township board meetings, you don't read the paper, you're going to miss out on a lot. And then you're doing a lot of catch up. So they're trying to do some catch up down in those townships to block the movement of wind turbines being brought into that southern portion of Sanilac. It's going to be an uphill battle because, as you're aware, the transmission lines were developed over a decade ago with the express purpose of not providing energy up into the thumb, but pulling energy out of the thumb. It was a federal and state initiative. There's a lot of money, a lot of weight behind that, coercing municipalities and subsidizing. Yeah, you get what I mean. There's money flowing with the idea of putting those towers up. It's a difficult thing. And it doesn't seem to be going away with the call to green energy. And that's kind of a misnomer. So it's pretty busy down there in the southern part of the county. I know, John, you know what that's like. And I can say that as a representative of all the constituents in the districts, I'm neither anti-wind nor pro-wind. I'm just pro-transparency. And I think it's worthwhile noting that while we may follow the exact requirements of the law, sometimes it may prove to be better to go above and beyond the bare minimum. Anyhow, that's all I got on that.
That's a valuable point you made there, Commissioner Wyatt. Thank you, everyone, for your reports. At this time, I'll ask Nathan for his administrator's report.
Thank you. First off, one of the big things today, we'll have for us the courthouse contracts. Those, I think we have a nice agreement that will be before you guys today. I'd like to appreciate Commissioner Black, Commissioner Wyatt for your participation in those. I know administration was running a little late during the time those negotiations were going on, so you guys were very involved, which was helpful for our department. Toured a few more facilities myself over the last week, animal control, the health department again, the recycling center. It's nice to get out, see the facilities, see how everybody's operating within the facilities. One thing that I thought was very good to hear for the recycling center was that all those materials are sold to companies within Michigan. So those get redistributed to companies within Michigan, with the exception, I think it was shredded paper. There's no place in Michigan that'll take that. So that gets sent to either Minnesota or Wisconsin, but it was nice to hear that those things stay within the state. So the county child care fund, which the courts have a piece and the local DHS have a piece within, that will be coming before you guys probably before the July meeting, because those will have to be approved. The county child care fund will have to be approved by August 15th. So I'll have to get those in front of you guys. So those will be coming down the pipe. Health department, as far as building and ground stuff, we had a little issue with the heating and cooling units. Building and grounds, Nick does a great job. He worked with them to get them over there Friday. They were able to fix those. There was no, at this point, replacement for a unit, which is good.
Over where?
At the health department. So, and then over at our EOC building, another thing is we had the generator that went out on us. So we had to get an emergency generator to provide service because we can't have dispatch without a backup generator system. As you know, I was in communication with a couple of you guys about that. Hopefully they'll get the parts this week, get it in, and we can get that back up and operating. Because right now it's actually a pull start system too. So Nick has been
Not
like,
full start, it's key start.
or key start.
Just gotta manually start it.
Somebody's got to manually start. Yes, I'm sorry. So Nick's been gracious in trying to make sure he's close, I guess, in case we have an emergency. And then lastly, I met with MMRMA, the risk liability insurance provider for the county. Jody Morris and myself met with them. It was a very good meeting. They talked about some potential grant funding that maybe the county could utilize through them to minimize some risk to things. So that's something good that we're going to continue to dive into. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate.
Any questions for Nathan? Hearing none, we will move on. At this time, as we are open for public comments pertaining to agenda items only, are there any public comments pertaining to today's agenda? Hearing none, we are going to move on to a presentation from Bruce Moore, Highline General Manager. Bruce, the floor is yours.
My name is Bruce Moore. I am the general manager for Highline in the state of Michigan. And we're very excited to be in Sanilac County. We've got some great news to share, a lot less controversial than windmills. So we're actually improving the internet service in your town. And we couldn't be more thrilled to do that. So what I have in my hand here is actually fiber optic cable. And I pass this around. And if you look at the strands in this, each one of these strands is actually a piece of glass. And when I talk about building our fiber network, actually one of these strands of glass actually enter, we put it in our customers' homes, right from the road to the home. So we're very excited to be putting this type of technology in the county. So I passed it around. It's kind of interesting. So this glass. Why is fiber important? Because it is the ultimate technology. It's the forever technology. It forever ends the internet problem in Sanilac County. And we're blessed to be in this position. The medium does offer us the opportunity to deliver the highest speeds available. 1 gigabit service to kind of like a normal language. A typical internet connection out here in the very rural parts of the community was probably a 10 meg connection, where a 1 gigabit connection is actually 1,000 megabits, right? So that much faster. And then we're building this network to future-proof it. So imagine someday, 20 years from now, with whatever's going to happen with technology and society, is we'll actually be able to offer the home a 10 gigabit connection as well. So we're building this network today to provide those type of services. And why is this important? Because what the pandemic again showed us is work from home, learn from home, game from home, and stream video from home is practically impossible when you've got 5 to 6 people in the household. Everybody's contending for a very choked down internet connection. And what our service does is open that up so everybody can be on the internet at the same time. And all of those things can happen simultaneously. That's what we're really doing, is solving that problem. Why is fiber important for the community? I mean, I know Sanilac County has been very progressive in terms of, and it's all the counties that we're working with. We're in 14 of the 15 counties in the Upper Peninsula, plus Tuscola, Sanilac, St. Clair, and a little bit of Lapeer County as a part of this project. And I won't go through all of these, but fiber and great internet access helps communities like yours retain their population, right, which is important. Attract new, which is important. Increases real estate values. And it also creates, when businesses are looking to relocate or establish in a community, we know the number one question is what kind of internet access is going to be available for our business, because they demand a lot. And so we really feel like this project is going to be long-term, current and long-term, have some really significant positive impacts on Sanilac County. We're very happy to be a part of that. So we survey every one of our customers, and after install, and I know there's a few people in this room that are already customers of Highline, which we appreciate very much. And we work very hard to make sure that our customers' experience with Highline is much different than they've ever experienced before. And again, I won't read all of these. And of course, we're looking for positive word of mouth. And we're looking for our customers the high likelihood that they would refer a friend or family member to Highline service. And 97% of our customer surveys said they would refer a friend or family member based on not only the experience that they've had with Highline from the first time they called or went through our website, to interaction with our customer service folks, to interaction with the teams that put the fiber from the home, or from the pedestal to the home, and then the people that come in and actually install the service. And so we try to make it end-to-end very positive. And as you can see, we get great word of mouth. Our referrals are off the charts, especially in the world of social media, where positive Facebook chatter is like really important to us, and so that's what we strive for. So where are we now? So and we'll get into this a little bit, but we're here because of a federal program, by the way, your tax money and mine, right, that was put into place to help resolve the lack of internet connectivity in the very rural parts of the United States. This was a $9 billion project, and we were fortunate enough to win it. And I have it on a future slide. We were fortunate to win $188 million, which sounds like a lot of money, and it is. But that's actually spread out over 10 years that we get that funding. And it's 76% of what we really need to do our job. So we've raised the private investment to augment what we don't have based on the funding. And in Sanilac County, we won. It was a reverse auction, and we won to provide fiber to in front of 6,453 homes, which is a significant chunk of your population, but it's not all of your population, which we're aware of. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Total project in the thumb, and a significant amount of that 766 miles is in Sanilac County. So this is a once in a lifetime, never happened before event, right? And although we have 6 years to complete this project, we made the decision in 2021 to start, but we want to finish our thumb project in 2022. And I will tell you that this type of project, because it's never happened before, is a strain on, in particular, the Sanilac County Road Commission because of the miles of permitting that we're looking for and the amount of activity. In our world, we're an excavator, right? So we're putting fiber in the ground. And so, and I know there was an article just recently talking about, kind of where we are, where we had been with the Sanilac County Road Commission. I can publicly state that the Sanilac County Road Commission from day one has been great for us. It's a learning curve. We're trying to be the best custodians of your right of way as humanly possible. And where we place the fiber is really important to us. And I can say ever since the article came out, we've had another round of discussions with the road commission, and we are back to where we prefer to be in terms of constructing. And really that's within the right of way, which, is from the center of the road, out, right? So the further out we get, the further we get into the agricultural community, and also we get further into what people consider their yard. And we don't want to be disruptive. So we worked that out. It's been terrific. And again, I can't say enough about the cooperation and the help that the Road Commission has done to help us finish our project in 2022, which is our goal. So we have 6 years to do this. Rather than push the Sanilac County project out 6 years, we're doing it in year 1, which we think is important to your community, and we're very happy to do that. We think, although our funding is for 6,453 homes, we think we can get total across the thumb to about 8,000 homes and make the impact. And the difference in the households is what we're building, not only today in our own money, but we're going to talk a little bit about the future grant money that's going to be on the way. So this is our total project. So you can see, we've got a lot of room to, or miles to cover in the Upper Peninsula. In fact, as soon as I'm done here, I'm heading up there. So we got a lot going on in the Upper Peninsula. And then of course we've got the thumb area. And we have started in the Upper Peninsula. And we're making some progress up there too, but we're really, our focus in 2022 is to get the thumb project done. This is a roadmap, and I provided one from the customers. This is sort of, and I have extras for anybody in the community that would like to see, but this is sort of the journey that it takes us to provide fiber to the home internet access. One of the things that we found out as we were building our network, the state of Michigan actually ranks 33rd in the nation in terms of broadband connectivity. So kind of embarrassing in a way. So we feel like our project helps take Michigan and certainly Sanilac County way up in terms of the type of connectivity available. And so the stop signs are really permitting. And again, going back to the path is now cleared. Those are not stop signs anymore. Those are green lights for us to finish our project in 2022. So we're excited about that. So this is maybe the schedule everybody's been waiting for. So you can see the light blue in the middle is where we started. And then if we're going to kind of go in counterclockwise, we're going again counterclockwise. So we go to the next shade of blue. We call that our Sandusky 2 cabinet. Then we're going to the darker shade of blue, which we call our Brown City cabinet. Then we're heading east. We call that our Pet cabinet. And I was just out in Fremont Township. And based on the feedback that we got, better internet connectivity is super important out that way. And that's actually a large cabinet for us, almost 2,000 households. And then when we're done, we swing up north and we get the northern, what we call our CAS cabinets. So all in, again, over 700 miles of fiber, we will have 5 to 6 construction crews going this summer all at the same time, building this network. And so once we get the network built, we test it. And then we're already taking pre-orders, of course. I think we're crossing over about 130 customers in Sanilac County online already that are enjoying their new fiber internet connections. So we're making great progress. And we just, really expect 50% penetration of people who, are looking for a better internet connection than what they have today. So that's our construction phase. I covered a lot of this slide. You can see it's expensive. One of the reasons that the lack of internet exists out there, and if internet does exist, and God love them, because I was in this business for a long time, the fixed wireless business, tripod on the roof, 10-foot mast, modem way at the top to get a 10 meg connection. That's the technology that's been available. This project, because we're building literally fiber past 8 to 10 houses per mile, and you can see it's pretty expensive. So that's why this program offering, the grant money and our tax dollars to help us improve the internet access is so important. And, and again, that's just sort of like, where we are with the construction. So, one of the things that we're all asking for is the state of Michigan right now has a $250 million grant opportunity that is on the table. And we'll be applying for that this year. 150 million of that is to do what we're doing today, provide fiber to the home. Then there's 87.5 of what they call middle mile connectivity. And, that's for the long haul fiber network. So the state of Michigan's got $250 million available. And I know you follow the national news, the Biden infrastructure bill is $65 billion is out today. 45 billion of that is to do fiber to the home or internet connectivity to the home. And we expect the state of Michigan, based on everything I hear from Connected Michigan and the state people that we're working with, is up to $1 billion of additional broadband funding could be flowing into the state of Michigan. And we feel like we're in a good position. And, and I have this goal, not much like I say in the Upper Peninsula, but I have a goal in the thumb that, every household should have the opportunity to have a fiber connection. Now, whether somebody selects it or not, that's up to them, but we'd like to provide that opportunity. So we're looking for letters of support from the county. We've got a draft letter that we'll be sending to the commissioners if they choose to support us, the county executive. Really looking for how we can bring more money into the community to help solve the internet problem. One of the things that we have talked about, and I'm going to kind of go through these pretty fast, is, we do think that 30% of Sanilac County is unserved with internet connectivity or by the definition of broadband, which by today is anything under 25 meg or by 3 is now defined as unserved based on what's going on in the world in terms of internet connectivity. So we never are coming out to the community with our sort of our hat in hand in terms of asking for contribution for our project, but we are looking for public-private partnerships to help expand our network. So this is a map that I think is a bit of a misrepresentation. It's what exists today. And those dark lines that you see are what has been represented to the state of Michigan as 1 gig connectivity or that 1,000 meg service. That is actually a representation of what was Air Advantage's network, but they did very little fiber to the home. So we think that map is a little misrepresented as well for Sanilac County. These are, again, we can blow through these slides. These are the areas that we're covering. It kind of matches up with that slide that I showed you with our build schedule. So you can go through that one. Next one is fine. We know that there are ARPA funds available. And again, I haven't followed where Sanilac County is in terms of how you're spending your ARPA money. A percentage of that money can go to internet connectivity. And so I just wanted to bring this slide up again, because if there's a way that we can partner to provide service to more homes that would be identified, again, we're looking for developing these type of relationships with all the counties that we're working with. And this is just some research that we did with the ARPA funds that are available in Sanilac County. Go to the next slide. And there are some counties that are today working with internet service providers like Highline to use a percentage of that ARPA money to serve more households. One of the things that we're really excited about, our national association has something called the Smart Rural Community Program. We have 3 of your communities approved and signed up Snover, Moore Township, and Watertown Township. And this is really a designation that we're going to do a press release and get these communities some recognition as a smart rural community, which means 1 gigabit internet fiber to the home is available. This is a program that we can do for every community. I think it's really cool and really important. And we'll do a press release that has a quote from her name is Shirley Bloomfield. She's the CEO of the Telecom Association. And so what this really designates is that somebody looking to relocate or to come into one of our communities, that they know fiber is available. And we are going to pay for light sign, road signs or light post signs that designate all of the communities that elect to participate in the Smart Rural Community Program with us. And we think it's a really cool program, and looking forward to rolling that out in all of the communities that we operate in. So next slide, please. One of the things that we want to be a good partner in your community. So these are some of the events that we're participating in. We'll be here this weekend doing some 50-50 and spending some time in the beer tent, I guess, right now. But I'll be there. Yeah. So we are participating in your community, and we're very excited to give back as well. And we did the wagon ride at with the museum, and so that was fun too. But we are participating in your community. We wanted to point that out. And then another thing that we're doing, and we do this in all the communities that we operate, we sponsor Teacher of the Month. This program is terrific, and it's kind of taken a, so it used to be, originally it was kind of a peer-to-peer, teacher-to-teacher. And then in Gladstone, the principal actually put it out to the entire high school, and now we get high school kids recommending their teachers. And I'm telling you, it's so gratifying to see what the kids say about the teachers to nominate them. And so this is a program that we're going to do forever. We recognize a teacher based on the recommendation. We come out with a little goodie bag, and we also provide a $200 gift certificate as a thank you. We also are implementing this program for first responders as well. And so we think it's just a cool thing to recognize the hard work that these folks are doing every single day. So with that, I take any questions, and the last slide shows how you can follow us on social media. Very excited to be here. I'd like to introduce, so Noah Kessler is a technician, a teammate of mine that works this area. He's a great guy. And then Jason Radloff, who you guys know, Jason works together because Jason helps promote and market our service as well. So it's a great advocate of Highline and a customer. So Jason could give you a testimonial today. But anyway, that's Highline. We look forward to being in your community for a long time. And at the end of the day, resolve the internet problem. So we're going to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Any questions for Bruce?
Bruce, you said you had approximately 130 homes, with hooked up rate. What percentage is that? We got 40,000 people in San Luis County. So 1,400 homes maybe.
So we have approximately, like, ready to serve right now. We have approximately 1,000 households that we could install today. So we're up in that 13%, and we've got about 60 orders pending that we're really looking to fulfill. So our goal in year one for each of these cabinets that you saw, and every one of those kind of where we're building is about 1,000 cabinets, except for PEC, which is like almost 2,000. It's like high density out there. Our goal is to get 20% penetration in the first year. And we think we're going to exceed that because the current internet service is not performing the way people would like. And so we think our take rate is going to be super high.
Further questions?
No questions, Chairman. I do have a couple of things I'd like to comment on. I think it's worth noting the Rural Development Opportunity Fund, the RDOF auction, which you spoke to, came around. We were aware of it just pre-pandemic. In 2019 and 20, the Board of Commissioners at that time had a broadband commission, right? And so we were reaching out with Connected Nation. They did a survey that identified what everybody here knows. We got crappy internet, and it's hard to work from home, right? Well, we came up with a map of how poor it is, where we have good sections and bad sections. During this time, this RDOF auction process was happening and what have you. And this was prior to having any ARPA funds or really any other funds that we could throw that way. And we wanted to help facilitate bringing companies in. We sat down and talked with several of these over-the-air internet providers on how we could help facilitate improving service. We talked about perhaps the county purchasing plots of land in which towers could be built and better penetration of over-the-air wireless distributed. After about a year of that, the RDOF auction was concluded, and we had 3 companies that won this reverse auction. One of them being AEG, who now is represented by Highline, got the majority share of that. And it was because they were willing to put their money where their mouth is. So good for you. Thumb Electric is another one that's doing some work along the northern part of the community, but they're really moving fast. Highline does to service this. But it should be noted that, some of the permitting, how do I want to put this? One of the issues that we recognized early on in talking with some of the internet providers, the ISPs, was the permitting process. It's laborious, cumbersome, it's a bureaucratic red tape labyrinth to navigate. And we took it upon the Broadband Commission and the Board of Commissioners, if you recall, in 2020-21, to help facilitate that by reaching out to these agencies that do the permitting and to help facilitate an ease of permitting so that this process can go forward. And I think that's paying off now. Well, I know that we had 2 commissioners attend a recent meeting at the Road Commission whereby perhaps they had some positive impact in moving this forward. So that's a good resolution worth noting.
I want to say, Joel, you were on that commission early on that committee. You guys did a great job moving that forward.
We didn't have any funds. So we worked with what we had at that time. And part of that was the permitting, which you helped facilitate recently.
That's great research.
Yeah, we appreciate all the community support and, because our goal from a permitting perspective is to keep moving forward, right? And drive the rural, very rural, we are building fiber off beaten path, you know what I mean? And, and there's a lot of woods more than you would think. And so when we have the ability to keep moving forward with some leniency in the right of way with permission and pre-approval and, keeping the road commission completely in the loop of what we're doing. Again, they've been exceedingly cooperative. It allows us to keep moving forward and really complete our goal of finishing this project in Sanilac County in 2022. And we're well on our way to do it.
Well, it's a good example of what government can do, well, not maybe efficiently, but can do on a large scale, because if it wasn't for the government's impetus through the FCC's RDOF auction, this wouldn't be happening because the numbers just don't support them sinking the millions of dollars into a cable to everyone's house. So that's where your tax dollars is going, and that's a good thing. Usually government screws up everything, but this is an example of where they're doing something good.
Yeah, you did that.
Good point.
Well, we'll do our best not to screw up too much the rest of the meeting, Joel. Any further questions for Bruce?
Just see that we get your letter of recommendation that you have for us.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, send that our way and we'll take a look at it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for being here, Bruce.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have a presentation from Christy from AdvisaCare. Floor is yours.
I don't have a PowerPoint.
That's okay.
I just came basically to do a recap. I do have my counterpart. He said he's in the waiting room.
Yes.
That's what I've been texting with. I'm like, I don't know how to get on it. He said he is 312 meeting number from the digital participation form. He said, got it. So I came back just to provide a recap of what I was here last time because I didn't expect you guys to remember everything that I said. I'm from AdvisaCare. We are a home health care company. We do have clients that we require caregivers. They require caregivers to go into the home to make sure that they can do everyday living, to survive, bathe, eat, things like that. The auto no fault that happened in 2019, our company was for. We do agree that there needed to be a reform that happened. We do feel that the home care side of that was an unintended consequence. The rates were cut from the auto insurance to us by 45%. So we are being reimbursed now at between $12 and $16 an hour, $18 an hour sometimes. But when you're paying your caregivers $14 an hour to $18 an hour to go in and care for them, you are upside down. So we are one of the remaining home care agencies that are standing. There have been quite a few home care agencies that have had to close their doors and discharge their clients to nursing homes, or their family members have had to care for them. One misrepresentation that happened through this new law was they were saying that their family members could take care of them and get paid through the auto insurance company, which is true to a certain extent. They could have all their family members combined, total friends, family, cousins, 56 hours a week. So that's 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. What happens to the other 16 hours that they need for the 24-hour care? And they're getting paid at a minimum wage, which everybody knows now with today's, gas prices. I mean, to name one, that it's hard to survive on minimum wage while you're having to quit your jobs to care for your loved one. So what we've been doing is going around to local Board of Commissioners and asking them to support a resolution that we are needing to happen for a fair reimbursement rate so that people can stay living in their home and that caregivers can remain going into the home and caring for them. That's what we've been doing. We've had 26 counties adopt this resolution so far. Huron County was last week. I actually accidentally reached out to your Jody last week after the meeting because they have a Jody too. So, but yeah, we are just asking for you guys to continue that surge for us to be an extension, an arm of, the law, and show them that we are standing together, that there does need to be a fix to the fix.
So we're talking about the change that every one of us who owns vehicles and paid insurance saw in the refund of $400, I guess you call a refund for each vehicle, correct?
Yeah.
Probably everybody got the check from there, like, wow, that's really great. And we were understood that came out of the catastrophic fund, right? So what you're saying is that in order to pay for that refund going back to, the tune of multiple millions of dollars, they're shortcutting the pay to the service providers of these recipients of healthcare?
Now, a lot of that fund wasn't just coming to home care agencies. It was going to hospitals and anyone that cared for them. And there was some, that's why our company was in agreement that a change needed to happen, because a lot of other, not home care companies, but agencies were charging what they found out was a lot more than they should for hourly care. I'm not a professional in that. I don't know what all that they were doing. The home care agencies were charging between $30 to $32 an hour so that you could pay your caregiver to go in and care for them, and then also provide your overhead and, function as a business along with making a profit. So what has happened is that was thrown in at the end, what we believe at the end, and a lot of people didn't realize that was happening. And so now, like Progressive, AAA, things like that, they're reimbursing us at $12 an hour to have a caregiver go into the person's home and care for them. So yes, the $400 checks came to everyone, but what we want to know is if they can at least approve funds or a rate that, like the Valley Area Agency on Aging or the veterans, they have had that longstanding reimbursement rate of like $29.88 per hour. That would be fair, and it's been tested. $12 to $16 an hour you can't sustain. That's why so many home care agencies have closed their doors.
You're saying that the result of this is people are no longer being able to stay in their own homes and being cared for, where's the grassroots organization of families that are saying this is untenable, that we give better care at home than in a nursing home? You're a professional agency that's looking to be reimbursed to a greater degree. So as you said, you can maintain a profit. So is there not a grassroots organization comprised of, families and actual victims of catastrophic automobile accidents that are saying, Yeah, I can't afford to stay at home and now I have to go to a nursing home. I don't want that to happen. I mean, that's more compelling to me than a company that says we're not making enough profit.
Yeah. Well, a lot of.
Hey, Christie.
First thing,
Sorry,
so
guys.
there is a We Can't Wait, which is comprised of, and you can find them on social media. They've been at the Capitol when we've been at the Capitol. That is families and their loved ones that are, and we have had families and loved ones come here that are not here, but to other board meetings with us so that people can meet them in general. It's not even necessarily, we're not about the profit. It's if you go into these families' homes and you have to sit with the person and tell them, I'm sorry, we are no longer gonna be able to send anyone in here to care for you. And their family members are looking at you saying, what are we gonna do? What's gonna happen? It's not about money. It's about they could potentially pass away, which people in Michigan have because of this. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Vladdy. There's a new campaign going around about him called Who's Your Vladdy? He has been massively affected by this change and has been in the media talking about that. But there is a grassroots, it's called We Can't Wait. Some of the things that has happened at the Capitol and things like that, because it's people and there's emotion involved, have happened that isn't necessarily something that we stand up and say, yeah, we're with them type of thing, but there is. You can research. They have our whole thing.
So what do other states do that don't have a catastrophic fund to draw from like Michigan does? What do they do about home health care and the cost thereof?
I mean, Brian may be able to answer that better, but my understanding is that they're reimbursed from the auto agencies at a rate that's sustainable for the person to be able to go in and be paid from companies. So the rates that they use, that's what we're looking for is a rate, not for the whole reform, change, anything like that. We're just bringing awareness to what has happened to the home care agencies portion of it.
Can you guys hear me?
Christie, you did a little research on this topic since your last visit here. And would it be correct to say that State Representative Phil Green has introduced some legislation to possibly resolve this issue?
He did have a bill. I don't remember what the name of it is now because it has been presented and it has been approved. But he is still for it. We were there. I'm not at the Capitol every day of the week, but I am there usually once a week. Brian, who is on the call, and April Brown are both there every day and have built relationships with senators. Senator Schmidt, I've talked to, and a lot of them that come out, they say, like, we are in support of this. We just need more people to agree. And there obviously has to be a bill that they all can agree on, which is one of the issues now that we're coming up with.
Can you guys hear me on Zoom or no?
Well, we
Hello?
have a resolution for support of this topic on today's agenda. We'll be handling. Is there anything further, Christie, or any questions for Christie?
I'm good.
Okay, hearing none, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for hearing me out.
I just want to make a record that Brian is on the call and he is trying to speak, but our speakers are on, we can't hear you.
Is that one on there?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
And now,
Okay.
voila. All you had to do was
Hello?
ask. Hello, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I could pull up a picture of him on my phone.
Yeah, hey guys, there we go. Thank you.
Hi, Brian.
Hey, so sorry about that. Yeah, thanks for, again, guys, my name is Brian Harris and I work with, obviously, Christine Advisor, and I have been in Lansing for the last 18 months. I was actually there today. I'm driving back from there now, so I apologize. I'm not in Sanilac with y'all for the meeting today. To get back to, I think one of the first questions was asked, and I apologize, I don't know who it was, but the fact that $400 refunds were given out because of the surplus in the MCCA catastrophic fund is in fact a direct result of providers such as ourselves and families not being paid adequately to care for loved ones who have been injured for sometimes upwards of 35 years. So that is a direct result of, again, providers and families not being paid enough money to keep caregivers in the home or B, doing enough with a family providing that care to able to maintain a loved one at their home. So I wanted to address that first and foremost, that is a direct result of that. And there are other things in the law, again, that Christy noted that we are in favor of, things like now giving drivers choices for the type of coverage that they buy, which was new, things like utilization review, which is a medical review process, which other insurance companies use to justify and validate the need for claims, is in there. Fraud prevention departments are in there. And even maybe most notably, for now, any driver that does not purchase unlimited coverage or insurance or chooses to purchase no insurance at all, they are capped at a $250,000 limit, whereas before the reform, those individuals choosing to not purchase any coverage would still be granted should they be catastrophically injured. So those are all the provisions that Christy's mentioning that we do state making the lift to change. And again, as she alluded to, there was that provision of things that aren't covered under Medicare, such as hourly home care, that has been cut now by 45%. So our $30 an hour bill rate and the market rate prior to the reforms, which has gone up actually, as you can imagine, is only being reimbursed, as she alluded to, between around $16-ish an hour. So that was one thing I wanted just to clarify. The second piece, Michigan is one of the only states now that still allows for a purchase of an unlimited PIP, personal injury protection policy, meaning that in other states, drivers aren't granted the option to purchase a type of medical care coverage should they have a injury following an accident. That coverage does just fall on their health insurance. So what interestingly that makes Michigan different in this reforms are that, now we have the option to be like every other state, should a driver choose, but we also offer premium medical coverage for drivers and families that want to select that resource and benefit as a part of their policy. And so in other states, care would simply fall onto, again, health insurance, whether it's a broken leg, broken ankle, broken arm. But those that are more catastrophically injured, like the ones that we and families across Michigan have taken care of now for many years, those individuals simply would be likely, if they did not have family support, be shuffled to the Medicaid state system and either end up in a long-term nursing care facility on Medicaid, a different insurance-based long-term care facility, and or if they have the resources, pay privately out of pocket for such care. So that I just wanted to clarify that also as to what other states do. So we still are a little bit of, I don't want to say an anomaly, because we do believe it is certainly beneficial to have the option to purchase an insurance for a task like driving where it's relatively risky or can be. And so that is, again, something that's still available now.
So they're not relegated to die, though, like as was addressed where families in Michigan are seeing their loved ones die as a result of this activity. You're saying that they go on to Medicare or Medicaid or some other insurance program that provides care. Is that correct?
So thank you. So in other states, that's what they would do. They would go on to Medicaid, more likely Medicaid, because Medicare does not cover or reimburse for hourly care support in the home, and Medicare only covers a certain number of days for a long-term care facility. I believe it's 90 days. So if someone, for instance, has a severe enough injury where they can't care for themselves indefinitely, they then would need to spend down their assets and apply for Medicaid and utilize that benefit because they didn't have another care option through their auto insurance or health insurance or something similar. In Michigan, and I do believe I don't think there's a lot of data, but I do believe that there are a lot of those individuals with catastrophic injuries in other states that just don't have the quality of life that we have for individuals in Michigan following an accident because of the care that we have to offer them as a result of what was passed in '77 with our auto insurance no-fault law. That being said, fast forward to today, as Christy alluded to, there are in fact families who have lost care, went into a nursing facility, and passed away I don't think it's more than 10, but there's been at least between 7 and 10 people who have in fact lost their care and lost their lives because families, providers were not able to continue to support them, so they had to do something different, moved into a home, nursing home, didn't get the quality of care that they needed and passed away.
Well, we actually have a nursing home here in Sanilac County, and I'd like to think that it provides excellent health care for those individuals who choose to utilize it. So I'm not sure if you're saying that that's a substandard method of healthcare provisions. Certainly staying at home seems to be like in the best benefit of the person needing the healthcare, and also for the loved ones that get to see them. I don't think it's necessarily the end of their life should they choose to go to a medical care facility that is staffed 24 hours around the clock with highly skilled nursing staff and other staff to help them live out their lives.
Correct. Yeah, it is. You're exactly right. It is not my intention to make that level or service of care seem substandard. You're exactly right. That is not my intention in sharing that. It was something that, as we've seen it, families and patients, clients that have had injuries, had these injuries for many, many years and have paid into that catastrophic care system for many, many years. And even now going forward, people that are buying unlimited PIP coverage, they just, right now, they don't have an option as to what to do. They don't have the option to allow for home health care because of the reimbursement rates being driven down so low by that government mandated price reduction.
Brian, are you able to augment the costs of the home health care through other health, was it insurance or private pay? You said the quote was like $16 an hour. It's not enough to have someone there. Could not families have either a healthcare coverage that's, ancillary to that, or themselves make up the balance? I mean, we referenced 16 hours a day not being covered. Are there other methods in which to do that where the healthcare agencies like yourselves can continue to offer service with other, revenue streams, I guess?
Yeah, thank you. Great question. There are, like you mentioned, private pay would be typically the caveat option for providing hourly care support for someone. Things like Blue Cross Blue Shield or Priority Health or even Medicare typically won't augment in an auto insurance or a work insurance policy if someone is injured in a work accident, primarily because that payer source, be it Medicare, commercial health insurance, what have you, they will see the reason for the care being after an auto accident and will simply, more often than not, point to that auto insurance carrier if they have that medical option as a policy and say, no, that's their responsibility, not ours. We're not going to cover that because it's a result of that auto accident that they sustained. So insurance companies, unfortunately, kind of play a little bit of point the finger from time to time, has been our experiences. And so while some families might have the means to pay privately, others oftentimes do not. After they've paid for their premiums for a car insurance policy or what have you, to, again, ultimately buy this coverage, yet not have a network of providers that can afford to fulfill the need.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on. Thank you very much for being here to answer questions.
Of course, thank you guys. And there is, Phil Green did have a bill. Phil's been wonderful to work with. And as Christy alluded to, unfortunately, it did stall in, I believe, the House at the leadership level. That bill in and of itself was quite encompassing with different service lines, and one of the things that most legislators have collectively agreed upon, at least so it seems, and they could just be giving us something we want to hear, but they do seem to agree that home health care, whether it be family provided and or agency provided, need to be addressed so that families can have the option to be at home. Again, no disrespect to the skilled nursing facilities and the work that goes on within there. We work with many of them and they do a wonderful job, just like you alluded to. But our thing is we just want to make sure, again, we can continue to provide support for those that have purchased these care policies, are continuing to purchase policies, and we believe obviously there should be a network that can support it. And so, yeah, we are asking, as Sanilac County, come alongside others to say, yeah, we also agree that our constituents should have the access to home health care should they be in an accident and purchased an unlimited coverage policy that can be an option that they choose. So.
Thank you for the information.
I just have another quick minute too.
So you have to go now because you have,
Wait, unless it.
let's,
quick, I don't know when
let's
the-
do your interview real quick.
Okay,
We'll get you fit in. You're okay with that? Okay.
sorry.
And you are Eric Carlson.
I am.
Aaron, thank you for being here. You're interviewing for the library board.
Correct.
Go ahead.
So I was asked to, or I was told that there was a retiree for the library board and was asked to submit a letter saying I would be interested in sitting on that board for Sanilac County. The libraries are incredibly important to me. I personally have 3 library cards in this county and I do use all 3 of them. So we do have stacks of books from 3 libraries in the county, in addition to the school as well. So it's something that's near and dear to my heart as an English teacher. And I believe it's very important that we continue to fund and support the libraries in this county. So
Eric, can you tell us a little bit about your background? I know you're involved with a billion things in our community. I don't know if everybody here knows you.
I'm a teacher in Sandusky. I teach 7th, 8th, and 11th grade. And I work with the NHS students, the Key Club students, doing cooking classes at the library here in town. So that's another partnership that I've recently adapted. But I have 3 children of my own, and my husband is a principal in the school system as well. So I also do serve on the PEC, the Township Library Board as well.
And you are the lady that helps put up all the flags here.
Oh, that's where I know you from.
Yes.
You do a lot in our community. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be part of this.
That's all the more I can pry out of you right now.
Yeah.
Well,
Just
Aaron,
do my job.
thank you for being here to
No,
interview.
thank you.
I'm sure you'll be an asset on
Sorry,
the library.
sorry.
board. It's okay.
All right, well, thank you. All
Have a
right.
nice rest of your
Have a
day.
great day.
Off to do some more good work, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Joyce, if you'd like to do yours. This is Joyce Johnson, and you're interviewing for the Community Mental Health Board.
Right. Yes, I've been involved. Well, we have a special daughter that's 41 years old. Okay. I've been involved in St. Clair County, Sanilac for a number of years. I'm on the Parent Advisory Council. I'm on the Region 10 board. I'm always looking out for the best thing that I can possibly do for individuals that can't speak for themselves. Our daughter that's nonverbal, I'm kind of used to speaking up for her and making certain that they get the services. If they have a question, can get you. I've helped a few individuals in this area. When our daughter was bowling, they got to know me. I was always there helping as much as I could when they would do the bowling and get them pointed in the right direction to the right people to help them out. I'm highly involved with taking care of and dealing with individuals. I taught school for 34 years. I always had helped with after school programs for a lot of the individuals that couldn't. My classroom as a teacher, I spent my lunch hour with students. I'd have about 25 come at lunchtime from place to study, to ask questions and for help. So I'm involved all the way around. It's always been, even before our daughter, I was involved with it.
Very good. Well, we appreciate you being interested in serving the community. Does anybody have any questions for Joyce?
I have a question perhaps for Will. She's serving or looking to serve a balance of a term. What happened to the other member?
The previous board member, she hasn't actually been in attendance for almost 18 months. She's been really, really ill. So, with COVID, and then she has a lot of her own health issues. So she decided that she was going to resign. She hadn't been able to, like I said, come in about 18 months. She was a primary recipient of service and just isn't able to do it at this point. If her health improves, 2 or 3 years down the road, I'm sure she'll be back in front of the commission again for a reappointment.
I know some of your appointments are specific categories, like you just said, primary recipient. Are you not a
She's considered a secondary.
secondary, right?
And we're required to have a minimum of 2 primaries. We still have 2 primaries.
Okay.
And then so many secondaries at the current time. So Joyce is going to still fill those needs.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Moving on to appointments to committees, we have one opening available for a partial 3-year term to the Community Mental Health Board. There's one person, which is Joyce Johnson. I'd entertain a motion to appoint her to the board.
I'll make a motion to appoint Joyce.
Support. We have a motion from Commissioner Heberlin, support from Commissioner Sarkella. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome. Moving on to our appointment to the library board, a 5-year term expiring 6/3 of 27. We have one candidate who is Aaron Carlson. I'll entertain a motion to appoint.
So moved. Support.
We have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Heberlin. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Moving on to general resolutions, there is a resolution urging the state legislature to amend the Michigan Auto Insurance Reform Act to address a reimbursement cap for auto accident victims. Anyone who would like to read that, feel free.
Whereas the Michigan No-Fault Auto Insurance Act of 2019 introduced a fee cap, which took final effect on July 1st, 2021. This cap set percentage limits on how much residential care facilities, home health care providers, and other persons can be reimbursed for providing treatment care to auto accident victims. And whereas the reimbursement caps are 55% of the reimbursement rates that home care providers are collecting in 2019. Whereas 55% of the home healthcare providers 2019 collections is an unsustainable reimbursement cap to continue caring for catastrophically injured individuals following an auto accident. And now therefore it be resolved, the Sanilac County Board of Commissioners hereby urges Michigan legislature to amend the Michigan No-Fault Auto Insurance Reform Act to address a sustainable fee cap, i.e. Michigan Workman's Compensation fee cap for ancillary services for home health care providers in order to uphold these benefits and have been paid for the survivors who are currently receiving and who will receive in-home long-term care when purchasing unlimited PIP auto insurance paid by the Michigan Catastrophic Claims Association. Be it further resolved, the Sanilac County Clerk is requested to forward copies of the adopted resolutions to the governor of the state of Michigan, the state Senate majority and the minority leaders, and the state House Speaker and minority leader, the members of Sanilac County delegation to the Michigan legislature and other 82 counties of Michigan as commissioners, correspondence this day, 21st day of June, 2022.
We have a resolution from Commissioner Heberlin. Is there support? Or we have support from Commissioner Sarkella. Is there discussion?
I'll just say that, it's got some statistics that are being placed in here. Part of me feels, particularly when Brian mentioned that, that $400 rebate that all of us got, came as a result of not providing for care. I don't see it that way. Maybe, when you look at those statistics and the numbers and where the money comes from, you could maybe draw a conclusion if that's your choice. But if you remember, that catastrophic fund was like, I don't know, $89 billion. I mean, it was some crazy money, and it's been that way and been growing astronomically every year. And it's been an issue because, we've talked about it before. The job of government isn't to just grow and grow more money and grow more money. And my understanding of this was, hey, we're going to be reducing the monies that have been collected from taxpayer, or rather from insurance payees, and reimburse them because we're not using it, right? Now, the unintended consequence may be that the reimbursement cap was 55%, but it describes it as, based on the 2019 collections. I'm not gonna say they were making too much money before, but there's just some unanswered questions that I have regarding where this data is being derived from and how accurate it is in terms of how that Auto Insurance Reform Act actually acted. So
So do you think it's higher than that? Is that what you're saying?
it's, Gary, to me, it seems like, like was said, like, hey, people are going to put in nursing home, then they're dying, as if there's a causative factor directly related to the fact that they were no longer being taken care of at home. Maybe that was the case, but maybe that wasn't the case. I mean, people do die when they go to nursing homes or when they stay at home. You get in a big car accident, that's a catastrophic car accident, you run the chance of perhaps dying at some point in time as a result of that car accident. To say that it's the result of us all getting $400 back, I don't agree with that.
I guess the way I see this is this was a service that was being provided when services cost money. And the state legislature took up reducing auto insurance rates for everybody in the state. And part of that reduction means a reduction in service. And this is one of the services that was reduced. So by countering this, we're pushing back and saying that we want our auto insurance rates to be raised again in order to compensate those that are critically injured and need long-term care in the home.
That's what we're saying.
Right.
And then right now, the way it is you have that option to do that when you can opt for the unlimited healthcare insurance, if you choose that, which I think is the right thing to have that option. Michigan's longstanding, since no fault has been introduced with this catastrophic auto claim, is that you were in it already. You didn't have a choice to be out of it. That's one of the reasons why everybody got money back. Now, the way it's written, and I've heard from my own insurance guy one way or the other about how bad it is, but he's pro, like, for the money you're spending, get the unlimited.
Yeah.
And that's probably a safe bet, but you get the choice to do that. This is sort of like, yeah, we don't want you to have that choice. And really, we're talking about, like, you heard what was said, people who choose not to get car insurance and who drive, and then they get in a catastrophic injury. Well, by golly, they don't get the health care that they used to get, right? Wait a minute, why are we okay with people not choosing to get health insurance, and then we're supposed to feel bad and upset because they had a car accident that they chose and made the point of not providing insurance for in the first place? There's a little bit of element of, I don't know, dare I say, personal responsibility and
Well, that's a dirty
taking
word.
action on that. I know, I mean, I get it. If we as a nation want to take care of all those folks that don't want to take care of themselves, and we want to do that, then that's fine. We can choose to do that. And that's why we have a legislature that we elect to make those decisions. And that was done in 77 with no fault auto. We've had it all this time. We watched that catastrophic fund just go through the roof. And I think people said we need some relief on insurance rates. Michigan's got the highest car auto insurance rates in the nation, the freaking highest. And this is the number one reason why. Well, besides carjackings, I guess.
So, Commissioner, are you looking for a friendly amendment to get better, more accurate figures?
Are you asking me? I don't have a friendly amendment to it. I'm not interested in signing my name on this only because I'm just not. To me, the presentation was from a company that's in business for profit, asking us to support their desire to make more money. Now, ostensibly, it's to provide a service. I get it, but every business that's in business for profit provides some service or sells something. And the idea being that, those people have to go in a nursing home, like my mom who fell off a ladder and she's in a nursing home now, or your brother who got hit by a tree and now he's in a nursing home. But this guy, he got in a car accident because he was, whatever the case is, I won't even go down the road with that. But he gets in home care, your brother, not so much. Now, if you wanted home care, you'd have to pay for it, and you would. Hell, I know lots of folks that have catastrophically injured family members, strokes or otherwise. They take care of them at home. They use the insurance that's given to them and they supplement and augment it with family, like she said, And also just their own funds. They work jobs to do that because they want to have their loved one at home being taken care of. People do that across America. You know, it's not necessarily borne on the backs or the shoulders or the pocketbooks of every auto insurance purchaser in Michigan.
If there's a need for more information, we could offer a friendly amendment to defer this for 2 weeks to the next BOC meeting. If not, we can call for a vote.
We often make resolutions. It's like, it's just a resolution, no big deal. And I don't want to be like that. You know, sign my name on some support for someone because what's the big deal? It seems like it's okay. We've had petitions and resolutions we put a lot of effort into so that they were explainable and understandable. And at this point, I don't have enough good information to say, yeah, I'm on board. Because if I'm signing a resolution, I want to go out and tell people about it. Hey, this is what we ought to do. This is what you ought to do. This is what ship you ought to be on board. And I'm not buying it.
Well, I read the resolution and it sounds to me, and I say this in a positive attitude. You've got some questions, some reservations. I don't have a problem at all, Commissioner, if you want to make a friendly amendment to this, that we table it for 2 weeks.
Does anybody want to make that?
Sure, I'll say we postpone this to the next Board of Commissioners meeting.
Okay, so we have a friendly amendment to postpone this for 2 weeks. Bill, you supported the resolution. Are you okay with the friendly amendment?
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to defer this to the July 5th BOC meeting. We have a motion and support to do that. All those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Moving on to committee reports, we will start with Commissioner Wyatt.
Oh, okay. Committee report, no, yes. Policy, personnel, no committee since last 2 weeks.
Okay.
Thanks, you guys.
See you, Bruce.
Have a nice day.
Thanks.
I didn't have to drive past that, but I stick around for a little bit.
Probably cooler up there.
Okay.
Did that guy bring in a box with no snacks in it?
Actually, with money in there.
Want some of the flyers?
No, that's okay. I can't eat a flyer right now. I am ravenous.
Okay, I myself had a Board of Health meeting this morning. I was unable to finish that meeting because I had another meeting I had to attend at 9 o'clock. We also met for ARPA today. There was some action from the ARPA committee. So there was a request from our sheriff's department related to tasers, body cameras, the equipment to operate that. So we actually went back and requested the sheriff's department, see if there were match funds available for the project of that scope. And turns out there was. Our own insurance provider has some grant dollars that we could get back. We have to spend money up front. So through that conversation today in ARPA, the ARPA committee did approve moving that request forward to the July 5th Finance and Administration meeting agenda for immediate approval, because there's a timeline on that grant opportunity for us to get that done. So I just wanted to make the board aware of that.
Are they using tasers right now?
Well,
I don't know.
it's sometimes it gets confusing because you have the road patrol and then you have the,
Right, they're not, they're looking for an inside the jail?
everything we discussed today would be road patrol.
Yeah.
Is the way I understand it.
And road patrol currently uses tasers? I don't remember.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
What they said this morning.
And we don't have cameras.
We do not have cameras.
Cameras, 100% on board.
Mhm.
I mean, that is an awesome thing. Tasers, not so much.
Well, I'm just making you guys aware of what was approved today in ARPA to be.
Well, since we're talking about it, it would be really nice for the sheriff's office if they get the opportunity to present maybe a summarization of why we would want tasers, why that in the escalation of force is something that's really beneficial, because it sure seems on a national scale that tasers are often problematical in the application of force. I'm probably way off.
Well, I'll tell you what, Lieutenant Smith talked about that today.
Yeah.
And there has been some issues with them in the past, and there has been lawsuits. And the company they're dealing with now, that they would purchase these tasers from, they will take state, I don't know, if it's liability out of it, they would stand in the way of the sheriff department.
Yeah, so for 5 years from when you purchase, the company will come in and be a probably an expert witness in a court case against, if there was a liability or a lawsuit related to taser use, the company comes back and provides support within 5 years.
And I'm thinking in terms of the actual officers, clearly Grand Rapids happened, right? And it involved directly a taser, right? And the understanding of what would happen if that officer was hit with a taser, it would debilitate him, right? And leave him in a tremendously disadvantaged position. And so, escalation of force occurred there, not knowing all the ins and outs of it. But that's not an isolated case involving the tasers being removed from the officer's hands. They have got so much equipment to keep track of, to be proficient in, so much knowledge and just the day-to-day interaction with individuals who may pose a threat or not. I don't know. I don't know what it's like from an actual boots on the grounds perspective, but it's an overwhelming amount of responsibility to keep track of all those methods of, application of force. To me, it seems, I'm sure Sheriff Rich has gone to conferences and it's been a topic of discussion, whether or not in the end tasers are definitely worthwhile, for a police agency to utilize, or whether it's an additional complication in the course of their work to apprehend someone. To me, it just seems like it's just one more thing to keep track of, to have to, understand how it works and to possibly forget to use it, or I don't know.
Okay.
I'm hoping that he has asked those questions and observed that, and
Gentlemen, just so you
maybe
know,
something to discuss.
Lieutenant Smith just joined.
Okay.
Sheriff Rich? What you said?
Lieutenant Smith.
Hold on.
Lieutenant Smith.
We're in committee reports and we happen to be in my committee report. I'm going to move this conversation along.
Sorry to. Was that
I'm
yours?
done with my
Was that
committee
yours?
report. Commissioner Heberlin.
All right, thank you. And my commission report, there's a planning committee tonight, our monthly planning committee. And I think a month ago, I had related that we are now working on our master plan, and Lisa Kenny here from the Sandusky area took over that job of putting the steering committee together. We had a meeting a month ago with the steering committee. We got a great bunch of people in there, a great nucleus of people, leaders in our county, and that's moving forward. And I think the next meeting is July 21st for the steering committee, and then we have our normal monthly planning committee tonight. Recycle building, that we just put a new roof on that building, and that roof was greatly needed, and Nick took care of that from start to finish and did a great job on it. They just finished up last week, and Zimmerman, and what had happened, the roof had got old and the plastic or the rubber on there cracked, and some of the water was going inside down in the panels. Some was going in front of the brick and shoved the brick away from there. So that's the first step we're going to do. We fix the roof, put gutters on it to get the water away from the building. And then our next project that we're going to be starting very quickly is putting a new cement in the driveway, which is cracked and around the building. And then we've got another project after that to expand that area to make it more user friendly for people to come in and dump off their stuff. So Nick has done a great job with that. And again, the roof is done. Our next project is a cement. Let's see, I think that was it. You talked about the ARPA. I think that's all I have.
The ITPC committee met after our last board meeting, still looking for full-time tech staff. And the MI file for court requirements should be up and running in the spring. And we did approve recommending ticket licensing approval. So they'll be able to do things electronically out on the road patrol once that gets done. And then other tech needs, looking at backup system, email system, and should be some courthouse upgrade moving forward as well. That's all I have.
Thank you, Bill. All right, we are done with committee reports. We'll move on to unfinished business. There is none. So we'll move into new business, starting with FA 091-22, approval of current claims.
Santa County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of current claims for 2022 identified on the accounts payable report dated June 14th, 2022 for the general bank account in the amount of $142,834.29.
We have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarcella, support from Commissioner Heberlin. Is there any discussion on the topic? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 092-22, a budget adoptions, amendments, appropriations, and transfers.
Santa County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the following amendments and establishes the following accounts as listed.
We have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella. Is there support? Support. We have support from Commissioner Heberlin. Is there any discussion on the topic? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 093-22, approval of additional general fund bank account checks charged to May 2022.
Santa County Board of Commissioners hereby approves the payment of additional general fund bank account checks charged to May 2022 as follows. $451,484.14 for ACH payments, $1,179,950.34 in checks for a total of $1,631,436.48.
We have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella. Is there support? Support. We have support from Commissioner Wyatt. Is there discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 094-22, award and authorization of ADA bathhouse project, Parks Commission.
Santa County Board of Commissioners hereby awards and authorizes Stone Builders Group LLC the bid for the purpose of an ADA bathhouse addition for Lexington Park in an amount not to exceed $34,566, which does not include building permits, painting, movement of existing gas, electrical, and water lines for immediate approval with funding from the Parks millage.
Support.
We have a motion from Commissioner Sarcella with support from Commissioner Wyatt. Is there discussion on the topic? Hearing none, all in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to FA 095-22, award bid for storage tank removal.
Santa County Board of Commissioners hereby reviewed all bids provided from the building and ground supervisor and awards.
I think Nick's got a number for us.
Yes, I got the exact number and company. We've decided to go with TSP Environmental. A lot of that is based on the fact that they're going to take full responsibility for all state licensure, paperwork, permitting, Eagle, Lara, Musta, the claim forms in case there is any contamination in soil, 100% going to fall on them. The cost of, I got two numbers here for you. The cost of the removal of the tank is $49,989. And then we would also have a $2,408 charge for them to take care of all the soil sampling that we
How
go.
much was that last one?
$2,408 for a total of $52,397.
We still haven't done any digging yet, right? So what happens when we got a lot of contamination?
That's where they come in, they're taking full responsibility. I've already started the notification process through MUSTA, the Michigan Underground Tank or Storage Tank Association, and they provide a $100 million coverage. So if there's any contamination in the soil.
That's
through MUSTA, through the state.
Through the state. Are they facilitating that? You said it's on them. so-
Yes, they finish filling out the paperwork, they send them a notification to pull the tank out.
Okay,
They perform their soil sampling, they pull the tank. Now, if there's contamination at that point, anything over and above the tank removal, they build a MUSTA. That's all covered through that, but they take 100% responsibility of taking care of it all.
who pays for the muster? I mean, how does that get
I
paid for?
do not understand how MUSTA works. I just know that they are the ones that are
Comes
responsible.
from the auto insurance.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Well, I do know
Don't ask any questions.
MUSTA is part of the ones that are doing the cleanups of the abandoned sites and stuff.
Some of that comes out of his retirement.
Federal funded?
Yeah.
Okay,
Should.
so they're really not on the hook other than doing some paperwork.
The paper, yeah, and make sure they're not getting fined from the state from that. Because actually, once they submit the fact that they've, once they submit everything that they're gonna remove in the tank, we have a wait period before they can actually start construction, once the state's notified. So it's either, I think it's like 60 days or something, or 30 days or 60 days from the time they receive the paperwork before they can actually start, so.
Thank you, Nick.
Let me continue on then with that.
Yes, please, with TSP Environmental and a total cost of $52,397.
So TSP Environmental, the bid for the removal of the county's underground gasoline storage tank and equipment to remediate potential soil issues and restore the concrete blacktop at a cost not to exceed $52,397 with funding from ARPA.
Support. I have a motion from Finance Chairman Sarkella and support from Commissioner Heberlin. Is there any discussion on the topic? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Moving on to FA 096-22, authorization to repair washout drain.
Santa Ana County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes Rick Capital Excavating to repair the washout drain in the courthouse parking lot at a cost not to exceed $1,825, which does not include the cost of the asphalt with funding from Building and Grounds.
Support. We have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Wyatt. Is there any discussion? Nick, the cost of the asphalt was already, it was gonna be the same price as what we were doing before. Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Moving on to FA 097-22, award and authorization of carpet tile bid.
Santa Ana County Board of Commissioners hereby awards and authorizes Flooring Edge Incorporated the bid for carpet tile replacement for the Register of Deeds 24th Circuit Court courtroom and jury room at an amount not to exceed $26,943 with funding from Building and Grounds.
We have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Wyatt. Is there any discussion on the topic?
How old is that carpeting again?
Old.
Old.
The circuit court jury room is the original carpet when that side was put up.
That's a long time.
Deeds, I think, was replaced last in 98, and I can't find when the circuit court was replaced.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Moving on to FA 098-22, adopt amendment to holiday policy.
Santa Ana County Board of Commissioners hereby adopts the following amendment to the holiday policy to include Juneteenth with immediate approval with funding from the general fund contingency.
We have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Heberlin. Is there any discussion on the topic?
Yes. I've been approached by, I want to say several, 4 or 5 people, which work in our courthouse and in our county. They're really happy with this because years ago they had other benefits and had pay raises they didn't get. And they said they're really happy that we passed this on. Good. Made up for some of the past.
Good. That's good to hear. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to NFA 025-22, authorization of emergency purchase.
Santa Ana County Board of Commissioners hereby authorizes the emergency purchase for the rental of a generator system for the Emergency Operations and Training Center from Wolverine Power Systems in Zeeland, Michigan at a cost not to exceed $4,500 with funding from Building and Grounds.
Support. We have a motion from Commissioner Sarkella, support from Commissioner Heberlin. Is there discussion?
Is this the only,
Actually, I think that funding's coming from 911.
what's that?
That funding's coming from 911.
Okay.
Yeah, it did say it on the front end.
So we'll amend that motion to just the funding that's coming from the 911 budget. And I got to give Nick some real credit here. When emergencies happen, we have an emergency purchase policy for a reason so that we can move quickly. Yet moving through that process, Nick still called 3 different places. And so we were able to get a variety of prices and availability on that option in a very fast manner. So Nick, thank you for doing that.
And we're looking at, they just sent me an email. We're looking at it as early as Friday for them to do the repair or next Wednesday.
Okay.
Or just wait till front housing.
Okay, thank you.
Seriously, Nick, I agree with what John said. We've talked about it and I appreciate that you did that as well. That was kind of the expectation of that policy when it was written a couple of years ago anyhow. That you would reach out for those distributors or providers of services to get the best deal we possibly can.
Yep. Okay, any further discussion on NFA 025-22? Hearing none, all in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. At this time, we'll do general public comments. Are there any general public comments today?
Mike?
I'm just gonna be really quick. I wrote a letter.
What's that letter?
I think you missed NFA 026-22.
That will be after we come out of closed session.
Okay.
Okay, well, thanks, Shawna.
I'm just going to be really quick. I wrote a letter that expresses my concern as a father, a pastor, and a patriot who loves freedom and loves this country. But I just don't feel I should read it right now, but I want to give you a copy of it. I don't want to take the time up, and it doesn't directly pertain to the county, but yet it does indirectly pertain. And I feel we're headed for some tough decisions, not only in this county, but in this country. So with that, I just want to give you a copy of this letter and you guys can just read it. I think it's some information. Obviously, you're not going to get into mainstream media, but yeah, just to make you aware of some things and how I see things as a person in this community.
Make sure you give a copy to the mainstream media.
Okay, good. We'll do that. Mainstream media. And then I give this to you. I don't pass this out to you. I give it.
That's right.
I give it to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Is there any further public comments today?
Am I allowed to say one more thing?
Sure.
So thanks for postponing it for us and putting it at the end. Brian will come to the next one. There's a couple things I did want to say based off of the commentary that you guys had. The unfortunate thing is the people that paid into this unlimited protection, they're not getting it now, and they had been paying into it for decades. And now it's just like, you don't get it anymore, sorry. Which that isn't right, to be fair. And someone that it needs 24/7 one-on-one care, that's different than going into a nursing home. So it's not trying to discredit the things that go on at medical care facilities. We work in independent living communities and we work in assisted living communities. It's not one-on-one care. So there is a difference to what people need. And the other thing is, if you are purchasing unlimited now for your auto insurance, there isn't going to be a company that will take your case. And so it's actually a waste to even have that, because you're going to get in a catastrophic accident. They're going to reach out to companies like us that are remaining, ask us to take on your care, to send caregivers into your home, and we won't take it.
Because it's still going to be at the low rate.
Correct.
And further, the people that are injured and in needing of care are no longer in a situation that they could buy a policy that would then take care of them.
Correct.
So they are kind of in a very precarious position.
Yeah.
So. That's
And
good.
Medicare doesn't cover it. So there's a lot of misunderstanding, especially with a lot of people I've talked to thinking, well, I have Medicare. Medicare doesn't have a code that the insurance will accept for 24-hour one-on-one care for attended care.
Okay.
So, but we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Well, that's good. It's good information. We'll get more when you come back. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any further public comments today? Hearing none, the board is now going to go into closed session to review TPOAM negotiation language. The only action item that we will take when we come out of closed session will be the ratification of those contracts. You are welcome to stay in the hallway and come back in. But that is all we'll be doing after we come back.